Hello and welcome to Indie Encounter. My name is Sandra Laraine Coleman. The mission of our show is to give independent performers and artists access to as wide an audience as possible and to give you, our viewers, a window into their artistic process, what makes them tick, and why they have chosen their particular avenue to connect with the world. All art is about communication and connection. In a garden grows wisdom's pearls like flower petals, plucked, picked, then penned poetry. Angelic Linda Terrell. Sacred be 40.
40 days and 40 nights. Buddha also fasted for 40 days and 40 nights. Moses took 40 years in the wilderness to hear God speak on the 10 commitments. 40 is the old age of youth. The wise ones say it takes 40 days to shift consciousness. During each generation, all that is sprinkles 40 conscious brothers in various locales throughout the world, and gives their soulmates various clues on how to find them. All that is in the still small voice said, your strength he will admire, your soul he will inspire. Against you he will never conspire. He will be the right to your left. Trust him, he'll pass all non-game playing tests. Refresh you with divine mind. Just be ready and know when it's him. Your margin of error is very slim.
Nice.
Thank you so
Very
much.
nice.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank
so,
you.
Sacred be 40.
Sacred be 40. I was talking to Adisa, one, from Queens of the Nile now.
Yes.
And we were talking about, I said, Adisa, I said, I think God only made 40 conscious brothers and dropped them all over the world. And he said, sacred be 40. I said, well, I'm going to write it if you don't. And so I wrote it.
I know
and
that's right.
That's where it came from, sacred be 40.
Wow.
And 40 is Jesus did fast for 40 days.
Right.
Buddha fasted for 40 days.
Right.
When you see a mind feast or a mind fast, it's usually for 40 days. So it's something sacred about the word 40.
About the word and the number 40.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, and it very beautifully put.
Okay.
And explaining it to everybody else that 40 is sacred.
It is a sacred number.
And we need to remember that.
Yes,
yeah.
we do.
So blessings to Adisa for saying it and you for
I
writing.
was like, okay, you know how us poets are. All we need is just a little bit, and we're gone with it. Sacred be 40. Oh,
right.
I'm going home. I'll be back.
Okay.
With a poem.
Yes, absolutely. So when you are writing and you're getting into your whole thing, your inspiration, what is the process for you? Because I know for each of us is different.
The process for me will be like a trigger. Like something that's happened in the world or in my personal space, or like the day I went to a museum and saw the Dance Theater of Harlem.
Wow.
And it was like I was walking through this museum and I could feel those clothes were breathing.
Yeah.
And I'm getting chills as I sit here explaining it to you, but the energy that came off those clothes just ran me right. I had no idea that was a Firebird costume.
Oh, isn't it beautiful?
Yes, it is just beautiful until you answered me on Facebook. That's a costume for Firebird,
Yes.
So things like that, personal things, or people inspire me. My daughter inspires me.
Right.
Nature, just.
Just being.
Just being, you
Yeah.
know, and then it'll get in my brain,
Mm-hmm.
and then it won't leave until I get it down on paper.
Right. It won't let you go.
It won't let me go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, somebody once asked me, how do you know when a poem is finished? And I know for me what it is, but what is it for you? Like, how do you know when you're done with that particular piece?
You know, sometimes in my past, I used to overdo it, and
Yeah.
it's sort of like a painting. You know, it'll be really beautiful. You'll see it one day, and then the artist keeps on painting,
Right.
and it messes it up.
Right.
So as you cultivate your craft, eventually you just know it's
Right.
done, and
Right.
then it's like you've regurgitated all this information. So
Right.
you know,
Yeah. Yeah. And
It's
you can
gone.
breathe. Yeah.
it's gone.
And
you
let
know?
your baby fly on its own.
Okay, yeah, on its own. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So now I know you do yoga,
Mhm.
and for your self and your writing process, and what is yoga and the connection between yoga and poetry?
Well, yoga to me is like going to church. It's an hour and a half of meditation. And it's a place and a space to, you know, take my body to, you know, where it is in the moment.
Right.
You know, and they say a person's actual age is their spine. So really the goal is to keep my spine supple, because
Right.
that's where all your, you know, your spine sends all the signals to the other parts of the body. So
Okay.
if you have a supple spine, you have a supple body.
Right.
So it really just relaxes me and puts me in that zone, in a state. So not just with writing, but, you know, with challenges that come up in life in general,
Right.
I deal with them a little easier.
Yeah, and that makes a whole lot of sense, because you want to be the vessel as far as creativity, and if you know everything is not aligned, then you know your creativity can be stifled for whatever, you know, reason, be it work or stress, or you know, you want to be clear.
Exactly.
So I understand the connection with the yoga and the poetry, because you need to be clear to let
do.
the work
Exactly.
come through. Yeah. So now you're not only a poet and, you know, do yoga, and you work and you raising a family.
I
So
am.
tell us how you are able to balance everything.
Well, how I balance, I don't really know if I do balance it. I just make it all work.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's balanced, but I chose a profession where I can make my own hours. I'm a massage therapist.
Okay.
So I limit myself to 5 clients a day. I try to make myself available when my daughter gets home.
Right.
That I'm there or I'm coming.
Right.
I'm on the way.
Right.
So during those days when I'm not working, that's the time I can write.
Right.
And, you know, take care of other stuff. And so, yeah, if you can call it balance,
Yeah.
then that's what I do. You
Or
know?
juggle.
Juggle. I juggle, you know,
Maybe,
like
yeah.
it's been, like the hair has been blown back lately because it's been, you know, orchestra practice. And I'm really committed to my yoga practice. So I really have to have that, you know, so fitting that in.
Right.
You know, what do you mean you have a concert tonight? Okay, well, I guess I don't do yoga, you know,
Right.
so.
Yeah, or do it when you get home.
Exactly.
And you're about ready to pass out from
Okay.
the rest of the stuff you had to do all day. But I commend you, because it's not easy,
It is not.
you know, and being a physical therapist, like in this economy where people probably aren't, you know, as liberal with their finances as they were a couple years ago. So, but you're doing it.
Yeah.
You're doing it.
You know, it's funny because that's kind of the lead into the next piece. It was like the September right before the election. And I don't know if you remember the fear that was in the air.
Yeah.
And it was just so tight. The
Yeah.
money was so tight.
Yes.
And I
Yeah.
had been really doing well as a massage therapist. And I can remember just feeling so overwhelmed. It's like, oh my God, and there were no clients.
Right.
There were no clients.
Yeah.
So I had this big yard sale, and I'm gonna make all this money. You know, I got
Right.
this Tempur-Pedic. I know somebody wants this $1,000 mattress. Well,
Right.
I didn't realize that yard sales, like one of the women came that bought something. I said, this price. She said, you know this is a yard sale, right? And then my daughter told me, Ma, you're not doing it right. I said, what, I'm supposed to give it away?
Yeah.
So as they were sitting out front selling stuff, I went in the house and got on the internet and found me another job at a spa. You know, so it was
Right.
like, okay, this is, let me plan C now. So
Right.
that's how we operate.
Exactly.
That's how we operate.
Exactly.
And I worked at Rescue until November. I just quit November
Oh.
last year.
Okay.
So I'm back with my clientele's building back up, and I work at a chiropractor office.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah,
And
so-
speaking of that, let us hear that
Okay.
that poem.
Okay, this is excerpts from the floor heater. Opus 1111. I would really like to have a nervous breakdown, but I can't. Or maybe I am having a walking nervous breakdown. Yes, a walking one, a black woman's breakdown. Without the luxury of being carried away on a stretcher with police escorts. So I scream inside while outside I smile and swallow bile. From kids with growing pains to mates with tight chains, aging parents with aches and pains, so I walk. And when I lie down, it's in the lotus position, so the universe can fill me up with calm. I'm paranoid because I know if I come up missing, nobody won't be looking for me. I won't get a shout out on America's Most Wanted. Nancy Grace won't be on Fox outraged that my husband killed me. Or taking submarines, scouring the floor of the Atlantic Sea. Nobody will be looking for my black ass. So I walk and watch my back, and my children's, and my mates, and yours too. I'm having a walking nervous breakdown, yet I am still standing strong, woman walking. Opus 1112, second movement. I walked the storm down, harnessed it and wore it around my feet till it became calm. Paranoia turns to caution and fear to love. Evasion of a creation of your choice is unavoidable. Sunlight shines through my windows, hummingbirds my friends, and still I walk. There are storm clouds in the distance. I welcome them. Still standing strong, woman walking. Opus 1113. I am so calm now that I dare lie down and close my eyes. Sweet sleep. Restoring, rejuvenating, revitalizing sleep. I let my guard down and felt like I was all that there is. When I woke up, I started to walk again, softly now, and with a big stick. Still standing strong, woman walking. Opus 1114, moving on. When I breathe now, I take in the breath of receiving. Receiving all that there is for me. I've started not to walk so fast so I can notice little things, like the moon and the stars, flowers, my daughter's genuine smile. As I grow and take no prisoners, neither does she. Non-aggressively, yet assertively. I'm a model, and not a top model, a model for my child. And yes, she is the business. I walk and I look around now. I am present in the now, yet I am still standing strong woman walking.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Beautiful, and starts one way and ends a
Yep.
different way. And I like when pieces are like that, because you can be angry through the whole piece, but what have you learned? And I like how you took us on that journey.
Well, I started writing it, you know, and I was angry. And I was even at one point, I can remember saying, you know, Obama was going into people's houses and stuff. I said, I wish he'd knock on this door. I got something for him. Okay, come on in here. I got some stories for you.
Right.
But, you know, I was angry with the economy, and I was angry that, you know, I took a leap of faith and left a job in corporate America to, you know, be available for my child, you know. So, and that leap of faith that was so good, it was now like rocky. So I was very angry that day of, you know, the yard sale. I just had all this wonderful stuff and people were like giving me pennies. So as I moved through it, and even at that time when I said people won't be, you know, nobody will be taking me away on a stretcher, that was around the time when Britney Spears was just all over everywhere. And I'm like, you know, how'd she get a police escort down the hill and a helicopter, one little girl, you know, and here I am over here. Now, if I break down, I got to walk in. You know?
You got to admit yourself.
You know,
Ain't nobody going to take you.
So, I moved through the piece, you know, and your kids keep you so grounded. You know, you gotta be gentle. You got to be loving.
Exactly.
You know,
so. Well, you're doing a wonderful job.
Thank you so much.
Being gentle and loving.
Thank you.
And even though, you know, you were outraged and angry and stuff, I like the way you moved through all of that and then became centered and focused and calm.
It was calm,
Exactly. Do you have another piece you would like to share with us?
I do. This is just my signature piece that I wrote this piece around the time of the Sister Circle. And for, you know, the viewers out there, Sandra was the MC at my first audition, and it was with a group called the Sister Circle. But around that time, I was working for the Smiley Foundation as a coordinator. And it was the first time I saw Cornel West, Dr. Cornel West, and Dr. Michael Eric Dyson. So I was like, you know what, I got to write a poem. You know, so the piece is called To Hug Thug, because you can become as elitist as you want. There's always that little thug thing, you know, that, you know, Obama, you know, you can see him walking the streets of,
so cool.
He just a swagger, you know.
He got plenty of swag.
And you've got to, you know, it's that thing, you know, and it's not a racial thing, it's just a man, it's a man thing. So it's called To Hug Thug. She has an affinity for brothers who survived adversity, came through with a spine made of steel. You know the kind, the brothers for real. Some would call him a thug, but he's the one she loves to hug. She loves to hug thug. 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 Walking in the boardroom, Trojan horse in a Brooks Brothers suit. He needs no gun, signs the black and white, and walks out with all the loot. Laughing on the elevator on the way down, wondering, do they know thugs bearing gifts make a whole different sound? She loves to hug, thug. 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 Quietly handling his business, the spook who's sitting by the door. He's got you covered and will readily go to war. She won't sell him out to keep her Versace gown. They're on the same page, and plus, for him, she down. She loves to hug, thug. 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 The prerequisite is to neither be handsome or cute. Just be conscious of your cosmic mission, mentally agile, intuitively astute. Remember what Pac told Kadada when death was coming round? Can I go? No, stay here, baby. Something's up. I feel something's going down. Like a dog smelling a bitch in heat when trouble's in the air. Gently pulls her out of her nirvana dream, because sometimes femininity can be totally unaware. She loves to hug, thug. 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 Now, don't confuse a stone rogue and a thug. Learn to differentiate between the two. The rogue is out of control. The thug knows what to do. And don't let nobody tell you that a thug don't have no heart, for to mess with anybody in there is totally foolish, not very smart. She loves to hug, thug. She loves to hug, thug. Thank you.
I know those brothers.
Yeah, okay, all day.
Yes, I do.
Yep.
I know them. Thank you
Yep.
so much for reminding us.
Yes.
Because just because, you know, they get to a certain point in life doesn't mean they don't know innately what to do when they get there
Exactly.
and who they are. They haven't forgotten who
Exactly.
they are. So yes, thank
Exactly.
you very
You're
much
quite
for
welcome.
reminding us.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
And I actually, when I was in Tanzania, East Africa, I went there summer before last to the UAACC. It's a compound, not really a compound, but it's an international way station. It was people from all over the world. I mean, Fulbright fellowships, Rhodes Scholars, study abroad programs.
Right.
You know, National Geographic.
Right.
It was just beautiful, and it was her husband's 69th birthday. Her name is Charlotte Hill O'Neill and Pete O'Neill. They're from Kansas City, but he's in exile in Tanzania now.
Okay.
So I did that piece, and she says, you know, I need to put that on my next album.
Wow.
And so everything there is operated on generator. So the generator went out before I left, and they have a studio on site. So I couldn't get in the studio. So I came here and put some music behind that and left a space where I knew they would fill in. And she added a piece called the Malcolm X Factor. She called it the Malcolm X Factor, that thing in a man that make a man go from pimping to laying pipe in the middle of an African village. Yeah, so we spliced them together, so we
Right.
got To Hug Thug and the Malcolm X Factor. And it's
Wow.
just beastly. And she has her own studio, so she laid about 26 tracks behind it. So it's
Right.
just heavily layered. And then
Wow.
Akula Akwabe, he's one of the top producers out of Kenya.
Right.
He was a producer on that piece. And you could hear in the music
Right.
her being in the jungle, because the sounds were almost like Zap Mama. You know
Right.
how Zap Mama does the pygmy
Yeah.
sounds, and
Right.
so
Right.
it's really it's mixed down. It's beautiful.
Well, thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Linda,
Okay.
for coming and blessing
My
us
pleasure.
with your words and your
Okay.
spirit. And we are so grateful that you came.
Okay, thank you so much.
This has been Indie Encounter, a journey into the world of independent creators of art and artistic communication. I want to thank today's guest, Angelic Linda Terrell. Check her out on Facebook.com, Angelic Scribe. Check out our website here at PasadenaCommunityNetwork.com and select the Arroyo channel. You may also check out the website 4mark.com for additional show and contact information. Thanks to our director, Lilia Fernandez Gaspar, and crew for making the show possible. Thanks to all of you. We hope to see you here again when we can embark on another Indie Encounter.
That one was really good, didn't it?
Yeah.